Hello everyone, I hope everyone's doing well, I hope everyone's alright. Now guys, in this video I'm going to be diving deep into drawing liquidity schemes, deep into trying to know where the market is going to go, and I want you to watch until the end of this video, because as the video goes by, I will be upping the level into identifying liquidity and knowing these patterns as they happen, as you'll see in the video. Now guys, if you'd like to contact me personally, ask me any question, or simply attend my Q&A sessions, you can feel free to do so on my Instagram. The link will be in the description. If you enjoyed this video, of course, make sure you hit the subscribe button, notifications, all that stuff that you know YouTubers say. So, good luck guys, and I hope you enjoyed the video.
Okay, then I just quickly want to show you a stop loss I recently hit. I don't know, I just want your opinion on it because I
Yeah, no problem, brother.
can't find. I'll just switch my computer real quick. So recently I had this trade, and after stop loss, as you can see, it went to TP.
Alright.
But so when if I'm looking like why my stop loss get hit, I just I don't see a, how can I say, a reasoning behind it. I thought like this liquidity was swept here, and then we were ready to push up, grab all this liquidity, equalize the trend line, the order block.
Okay, but, so yeah. Brother, first of all, can you just zoom out a little bit on the 15-minute chart? Okay, so when you had that impulse through to the downside, okay, yes, and where did it stop?
Like here?
Okay, it stopped right here, all right? So when it stopped right here, it formed a double bottom with a previous low. Right there. Can you draw that double bottom, brother? Okay, so when the market impulsed through to the downside right here, it formed a double bottom with this low right here. Now, yes, those traders trading this double bottom, where would they place their stop losses?
Well, below the double bottom, or maybe even below this wick. I don't know.
Below the latest low. Where's the latest low? It's right here.
Yeah, this one.
Okay, so place a line there, brother.
Okay, I'll do like this, if that's fine.
You can. So, right here. Now, can you zoom out a little bit more, brother?
Like this, or
okay, more? So, as you can see, on top of that, on the low, there's a trend line through to the upside. Below, yeah, right here. Can you draw that trend line?
This one?
It can start from lower, brother. So, it can start from here.
Like this.
So, where's the third touch of this trend line?
Right here.
Okay. Can you place like a point at it? Not a line, not a line, because this is the third touch. Just like a bubble, anything. Yeah, exactly. So this is where those trendline traders entered. Okay, and then on top of that, the as you can see, when those trendline traders entered, they would place their stop losses below the latest low as well. Yeah. So where is the latest low?
Let's say here, this low here.
It can be this one, or it can be the one below it, right there. So can you draw a line from there, brother? All right, so we had the stop losses of those double bottom traders right there. We had the stop losses of those trendline traders right there. And as well, we can look at after the latest trendline touch, we formed an order block. We formed a big impulse through to the upside that left an order block. After the latest touch of the trendline, where you placed your point, right there, we formed an order block. Just draw a square there around this.
Here, I think.
All right, so as soon as this order block is touched after the retrace, okay, people have bought and they place their stop losses also below this order block.
Yeah.
Correct? So after they placed their stop losses below this order block, guess what happened? The market just impulsed through to the downside, took out the stop losses of the order block, double bottom, and trendline traders. And then started moving through to the upside. So first of all, you want to always care about the third touch of the trend line, because the second touch is not important, the first touch is not important, they're used to draw the trend line. The third touch is the touch that is important that people are looking at. Now, I want you to extend that trend line through to the upside.
This one?
Yep. After you extend that trend line, what do we realize? That trend line was broken and retested multiple times. We will look at the
Yes.
final retest, okay?
This one, yes.
This final retest. After this final retest happened, where did people who traded that trend line touch place their stop losses?
I think about this high or this.
Either this high or the one above it, at the top where there's almost a triple top there.
Here.
All right. So what happened right here is that the market, after touching the order block and forming liquidity through to the downside, it pushed through to the upside, took out the trendline traders, the trendline sellers, and at the same time, if you look at this trendline retest, the latest trendline retest, you'll find a double top as well.
Yeah, yeah, I see.
So right here at this, can you draw the double top, brother?
Uh,
Not just this one, even with the one with the high after it. Like go to the, yeah,
like
exactly.
all
So we have this triple top right here. Where would those triple top traders place their stop losses?
again above the highs, like
Above
here or
the latest high above the triple top. So where is the triple top? Find the high that is above this triple top.
like here, I think.
I'm seeing it, brother, a little bit further up.
Here.
So I don't, of course I don't have I have a lower resolution because okay. So as you can see, it's the tops up there.
Yeah, here then.
Okay, so what happened is that after this triple top and this trend line retest formed, those all these stop losses were through to the upside. The market pushed through to the upside, targeted them after this order block touched, and then melted. If you can zoom out, brother. After targeting all the liquidity through to the upside out of this triple top, it then melted through to the downside, targeted all the liquidity that was left through to the downside before targeting the liquidity through to the upside, and then it continued impulsing through to the upside. As the market pushed through to the downside, brother, I can clearly see a three drive pattern, which is the pattern that I always talk about. A three drive pattern through to the downside that took out all the liquidity through to the downside. So it satisfies the requirement of a three drive pattern, because the requirements of a three drive pattern is that the third drive, it needs to take out liquidity. So that big impulse through to the downside, brother, is the second drive. So let's mark
Yeah.
it. Yes.
So this will be first.
Yes,
No.
that was the first
Yeah.
drive right here. The second drive is this second impulse through to the downside, very hard impulse through to the downside.
Here then, or
Yep, it started here if you want. It doesn't matter where it started, brother, as long as it formed. Now the third drive is the final drive that took out the liquidity through to the downside. All right, it can start at the equal highs, brother.
yeah, like here.
Okay, so the third drive started here. It took out all the liquidity through to the downside after a three drive pattern, which I always talk about on my social media. We took the liquidity through to the downside, and then we pushed through to the upside, because when a three drive pattern is also forming, it means we're forming a trend line through to the upside. So if you can take that highest high up there,
This one.
yep, and draw just trend line from it through to the downside. You already okay?
Yeah, yeah, like this.
All right. So as you can see, we formed with this three drive pattern through to the upside. We formed this trend line through to the downside here, and on top of this trend line through to the downside, there's these equal highs. So what we're doing right here is we're forming a three drive pattern through to the downside, grabbing all the liquidity through to the downside, and at the same time, while doing this three drive pattern through to the downside, we're forming liquidity through to the upside through this equal highs and through this trend line through to the downside. So what the market then did after grabbing the liquidity through to the downside, if you look at the equal highs, where would they place their stop losses?
I think around here maybe.
Above the most recent high. The most recent high in
Yeah.
this case is where you drew the line of the OB.
Oh,
The,
okay.
the blue line. This is the most recent high. So what the market did
Okay.
is it grabbed the stop losses through to the downside. It formed liquidity through to the upside by forming this trend line and forming this triple top. And then it impulsed through to the upside to target the liquidity through to the upside.
I see, I see.
Okay, now at the bottom, before impulsing through to the upside, if you can just just do this, you can see there's a strong support line at a strong like tripled, quadruple bottom, whatever. This trend line, it's also a support line if you draw it from the bottoms, just the bottoms.
Okay. Like this then?
No, no, brother. If you higher it a little bit, if you make it a
Oh,
straight
okay,
line,
okay. Oh, like, yeah.
This
like
is
this maybe.
like look how much this is of a liquidity area.
Yeah.
So what the market then did, it formed all this liquidity. After grabbing the liquidity, it formed all this liquidity. It pushed up, grabbed all the liquidity through to the upside from this, as I showed you, equal highs, OB line, all the shit, and
Yeah.
this trend line. And then it impulsed through to the downside again to grab the liquidity of this strong support line that was formed through to the downside. This can also be seen as a triangular channel. When there's a support line and there's a trend line, it forms a triangular
Yeah.
channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right? This triangular channel, we grab the liquidity on the upside and then we grab the liquidity on the downside, which is also something that I always talk about on my Instagram when I upload the reels of me trading. So as you can see, brother, it's just a matter of spotting liquidity. I don't expect anyone to look at the charts and just be an expert in spotting liquidity. I spent like 8 years doing this and developing this, and I have a fixed system right now. So you just like fix it. You try to find something that will. Now, of course, if you told me that you got a prop from challenge, which means that you most probably already have a profitable strategy. So just stick with it. You can write this in your journal. You can say, okay, I lost this trade because there was liquidity of an order block and of a trend line through to the downside that weren't targeted yet, and I needed to wait for them to be targeted. That's it.
Yes. 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 I
This is
see
what you
now.
write in
Thank
your
you.
journal and you move on. You don't change anything, by the way. It doesn't mean that next time you have to wait for this liquidity to be grabbed because you still don't have the statistics to prove to yourself that when there's liquidity through to the downside, most of the times you lose. Okay, so you need to wait. You just make this assumption right now. You write it in your journal. You write, I lost because there was liquidity through to the downside and all of that shit. The next time you lose, you write the reasoning for it via you analyze and you write it. And after, like, let's say 2 or 3 months after you've accumulated enough trades, you look at your losing trades and you determine, okay, most of my losses might have been lost because there was liquidity through to the downside that I didn't take care of. So,
Yes. Yes.
which means that from now on, I will wait for liquidity. However, before that happens, you just trade the way that you've traded. You just trade the way that allowed you to get this 25K prop from account. All right, brother?
Yes. Perfect. Thank you, man.